I was pretty excited about this one. I mean, James Franco with a mustache from the 70s, Francesca Eastwood, probably the only good thing about the Heroes reboot. The Vault. Two estranged sisters have to work together to save their brother and rob a bank, and some weird shit goes down. However, I'm not sure what they're saving their brother from, other than the fact that I think he chopped off his finger as they lit fire to a building down the street to distract everybody and have the fire department over there. He still brought the cops to the same street though.
I hate sirens. Is there a problem?
James Franco plays an assistant manager at the bank who's fairly likable, and the real shame is that he doesn't have more scenes and he's not more part of the story. Francesca Eastwood comes in there trying to get a job there. She's in for an interview, but really she's there to support her sister who's, causing a scene and planning on robbing the bank once the firefighters show up. There were a few times I thought maybe the guard was in on it because, he locked the door at one point, which made no sense, but then it was unlocked later, so who knows, but that guy, something was going on with him. So once the charades drop, they all get to robbing the bank, and they only get about $70,000, which isn't enough to cover all their expenses. So, James Franco trying to calm the situation down, he's just like, oh, in the basement, there's a vault.
Where's the rest of the money?
It's down below. That's where the real money is, in the old vault.
Now you can't quite tell if Franco knows anything about the vault, and that's suspicious, but, he seems legit. But later on throughout the movie, he's just like kind of playing people psychologically against each other, which I didn't really see a point to. The only people that actually stood out in this was Franco, Eastwood, and the bank teller who played Susan Cromwell. I can't even try to pronounce her name. She had some good scenes with her brother, but even she seemed like she was psychologically attacking him and being like, oh, you're a good person, you don't want to hurt people, and just pushing that agenda on him. So when they do in fact go down to the vault, the one guy drills in and starts hearing children laughter, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever in this movie.
There's people down here. There's people down here.
And then he sees people with bags over their head, and they all come at him and, theoretically kill him, but we see him get attacked later where he actually puts a drill bit through his own head. There's some rather graphic scenes. So Francesca Eastwood's trying to figure out what's going on down there, and she's talking to the bank teller Susan, who's telling her about this murder spree that happened from this one guy who killed all these people at the bank and then actually lit it all on fire. And Francesca's not buying any of it, even though weird shit's starting to happen. We lose another one of the bank robbers next as he's watching the hostages, but then extra hostages start appearing, which is getting kind of weird. Throughout all this, they just leave Franco in this one office, and whenever they want to talk to him, they go back in there, but they don't talk to him enough.
Who the fuck is down there? Do not fucking lie to me!
Please, I don't want you to get upset and hurt anyone. You promised that you wouldn't hurt anyone if I helped you.
So when they do get the money from the vault, they see that it's all dated back when the bank was robbed originally, and then somebody lets it slip that the guy that did it actually hunt down everybody that was here and kill them all. Then we get some talks with the police outside because they caught on to this, and Francesca picks up the phone and she can hear somebody talking to the police, calling them, and it kind of sounds like Franco, even though, Franco's over there, not on the phone. Their original plan is to escape through a water pipe that the brother who's missing a finger has to cut through it, and then he starts seeing all this weird shit going on, so he stops and he starts burning the bank down. He starts throwing mock cocktails around, and he's got his weapons and he's shooting at these things, but they're not dying. Eventually the sisters escape because her brother stays behind to hold off the ghost killers. But we already heard that the thing's gonna track them down and kill them, so when it happens in the end, and we don't actually see them die, but we see that the guys track them down. So I have some issues. First you set up this killer who kills everyone in the bank in the past, but then he comes back and he uses the hostages that he killed to actually hunt down and kill the people that are in the bank, but he's only attacking the people that robbed the bank this time, rather than just the tellers and the civilians that are in there. Shouldn't he be trying to kill everybody? I understand maybe the spirit gets released when the vault gets opened, that would make sense. But him not wanting to kill everybody doesn't. It's not like he was a good person before he died. Why would he be a good person when he died and go after the bad people? In the end, they had this little M. Night Shyamalan twist, which really didn't have that much payoff. I understand what they were trying to go for, but the execution just wasn't there. Maybe it was a script. I don't think they told the story well enough. These two sisters that were fighting throughout this whole bank heist, not getting along, that could have been more dramatic. And maybe Franco could have been more manipulating. I don't think he was even trying to manipulate them, but he's telling the one sister that the other sister's losing it. And really, the one that's probably in most control would be Francesca Eastwood. So, I mean, it didn't really make sense that he was even saying it unless he's trying to manipulate the situation. And in the end, we find out that he's really not. Again, this is one of those movies that was just kind of in the middle ground, where it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I mean, it's watchable, but there wasn't really much scares to it, even though, it had its horror elements. I think the motivation of the characters wasn't really well thought out. I mean, the sister at one point is like bitching at the tellers about some bank account she doesn't even have, which is like super annoying the way she's doing it, and it's more annoying me than it is the characters. So it's just like, maybe the tighter dialogue would have helped or something. So if you see this pop up on your Netflix, I'm not going to say don't try it. I mean, it did win some awards at some horror fests, which, like I said, the horror was lacking, so I'm not quite sure how it did that. But, I mean, it had some ideas. I didn't hate this movie. It's just really not worth going out to find it and watch. As always, thanks for watching.